Hey everybody. Yeah, Susan Lynn, psychic medium here. I'm here. I'm doing a video. You do you, boo boo, because I don't know why I'm doing this video. I just know that my spirit guides have been yammering at me, and the only way to get them to stop is to do a video. So here I am. So let me tell you what they're saying, and I hope that it's helpful for you, because frankly, I think you and me, like their constituents, right? Like you want to think about it like that. We are their customers, especially me. And I have other things I would like to know, but no, they don't want to talk about those things. They want to talk about this. So here we are. They want to talk about the fact that, and it's not just America, it's the whole world. So listen in, peeps from other countries. Humans need politicians. Wait a minute. Humans are seeking and therefore need politicians that are braggadocio or are I wanted to say con man, but that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Anyway, that are showmen or show women. Okay, bear with me for a second. Let's use what's happening right now in the United States, regardless of when you're watching this video. It could be past tense, and I hope it is. But right now, God bless them and prayers to all of them. The citizens of Los Angeles are undergoing this immense tragedy, right? But wherever you are in the world, you've been through an immense tragedy or you've witnessed one, right? Like this is not just happening here in the United States. It happens everywhere. There's floods, there's fires, there's tragedy. Okay. Now what they want to say is that I'm going to switch between Americans, but you understand when I say Americans, I'm saying humans, which is what they say. I figured out when they mean worldwide. When they want to like bring it out to like the whole world, they use the word humans. So just so know that. But so for instance, this is all going to make sense. Okay, they're making it make sense. Thank God. It makes sense as far as like dictators and the energy moving to the right. Okay, so that's where we're going. But here's where we are. Where we are is this tragedy is happening in Los Angeles, and Biden, President Biden, love him, but we need an okay, I'm sorry. Susan is 40% of this, okay? 60% spirit guides. Susan disagrees with this, but what they're saying is that the middle of America, right? And even where you are in your country, maybe you're a subset. You're not in the middle. You're not in the popular populace. Okay. The popular populace is looking for leaders who are parental. Number one, take control, take my rights away, take my freedoms away, because I feel safer with more control. This is the number one thing that people, when they interview people that then vote for authoritarian dictatorships or politicians, that's what they say. They say, we want more safety. We want more control. They don't want to parent themselves. They don't want to think for themselves. They don't want to consider all these things. They want somebody to come in and say, you do this, you do that, you say this. They want that. Okay, that's what they're looking for. Unfortunately for them, we're going into a time of expansiveness, of self determination, of self responsibility. The Spirit Guide's been talking about that since November 6th, self responsibility. This is where we're going. However, we're not there yet because these people still want to give away their responsibility. Okay, now how that matters in LA and the fires is not at all what you're thinking. What it matters is that Americans in general, certainly not people who live in LA, maybe not even people who live in California, but Americans in general would like to see you're going to throw up in your mouth, and I'm so sorry. And I'm so sorry if you just spit out what you were drinking or even went over the yellow line on the road. Look, don't drive when you watch these videos. I'm telling you right now. But they want that kind of Trump experience because even though he goes to Puerto Rico and throws a roll of paper towels, he looks like Big Daddy, right? Like he would show up in LA with his, forget Air Force One, he would already have it repainted because he would already sold Air Force One to the Saudi prince. And then he would kind of put some band-aids on Trump Force One, get a mechanic to finally look at it. So anyway, he would be flying in on Trump Force One, and he would make a big show about daddy's here. And he's not gonna do anything. He's not gonna say anything of substance. He's not gonna provide any aid. But the showmanship, the bravado is what the guides are saying, is what people want when they're uneasy and they're afraid. And so we have this thing. So if he flew into LA, I'm pretty sure LA would shoot the plane out of the sky. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, this is where the spirit guides are going. People vote for people like him because he is the big daddy. He is the bravado. They even if it's false, it gives them something to believe in. It gives them something to hope and something to trust. And when you have somebody like Biden who's like, hey, I want like an adult, like a fully formed adult, hey, here's some government aid and what can I do to help you? And, you have to have self-determination, right? Like, how do you want to rebuild? What are your codes? What does your community want? Like Biden is not going to railroad anybody, right? He's going to go in and say, I want to be a partner in helping you. 45 would go in, take all that land away and build Trump towers everywhere and grift off of it, right? But these people, but in a way, even though they're against communism, in a way, that's kind of what they're angling for, right? Because if 45 did that, this is all fantasy, right? I'm just working this out theoretically. I'm just trying to help you understand the energy and the thought, the thinking behind the energy. Okay, the thinking behind the energy. If he did that, everybody would have, I can just see these people going, well, I have a home and it's fireproof and it's better than it was. And you know what I mean? When you're beat down and you don't have leadership, then you feel like no one's got your back. And I have to say, living on the Gulf Coast, FEMA never had our back, not once, not under any president, not under any president, not under any Democratic mayor of Houston. No, it just didn't. So you have this huge loss of trust in the government, regardless of whether it's a Democrat or Republican. And then what happens is people like 45 can go in and pretend to be this, I'm going to solve all your problems. Don't worry about a thing. Big Daddy, think about it. The sugar daddy, the mob boss. He's like, look, do it my way. You're going to be good. I'm going to take care of you. You're going to be okay. Don't do it my way. Well, you're going to fall out a window. So what's fascinating to me, and I think the reason why I'm doing this video, because they're making me. But anyway, I'm really busy. But anyway, is that they want to talk about this because this is happening all across our earth right now, where people are feeling afraid and unsure. And a lot of that is astrological that's making you feel that way. The energy is kind of bonkers. The energy is unstable, and it's going to be unstable for several months. So you start to look for somebody who's more of a controlling energy rather than somebody who's like Biden, who's saying, hey, help is here if you need it. Let me know. If Biden, let me turn it on its head. If Biden flew into, which he did, he flew into LA in the early part of this, tragedy. But if he flew into LA this isn't Biden. I'm just telling you, if he flew into LA and got in a Hummer and, did the whole viral masculine thing, it would make people feel like, okay. And I'm telling you, this is crazy thinking. I'm telling you, but this is what the guides are saying. I know it's not you. I know you disagree. It's not me either. But we are not the target audience. The target audience is the middle of the country. If Biden had gotten in, and this is for real, if Biden had gotten in one of those helicopters that's picking up water and gotten a helmet on and his aviators on and flew that mission, that would have been all over the papers, podcast, social media, because it would make him viral. Even if it's a woman, right? It would make you look like, damn, that took some cojones, right? Now, on the other hand, I don't know where you do with all those Secret Service people. And I'm sure, on the other hand, a rational, mature democracy would say our president doesn't need to be in a helicopter doing something very dangerous. No, but we're not rational and we're certainly not mature. The middle of the country is for grabs. I hate to tell you this, but it's for grabs. Something major has to happen. Now, of course, if 45 gets in, and I don't see him getting in, but he could. There's nothing here written in any concrete or stone. This is freaking quicksand. Okay. If he gets in, the humans, the Americans are going to turn on him. And even a lot of his MAGA people are going to turn on him like you've never seen. And it's not going to be pretty. He's not going to be a dictator. But what he's going to do, is open the door for dictatorship. He's going to open the door for someone to do it better than Donald Trump did, because he's a failure at everything he does. Imagine if somebody with some real smarts and real understanding of psychological, you know, um, intimidation or whatever, psychology, some real understanding of psychology and sociology, they could really do some damage with the door the 45 is opened. Okay. And I mean, it's really what they keep showing me as a king. They keep showing me, and I don't know if this is true because I'm not a history person, but imagine a king that was a good king, that took care of his subjects, that was fair and balanced. I don't think they lived very long. I don't think they lived very long because they were too nice. But that's what they keep showing me, is there's a potential of us having this kind of monarchy. I don't know if monarchical, some kind of control, whatever the word monarchical control would be in America. Now, this energy wouldn't be the same energy that's going to try to take over Canada and Greenland, right? That again, but it would be a very controlled environment, a dominating energy, but mostly fair. Okay, so that's kind of where the door is open to go, because the people, the humans, the American people will not, they just won't. They have tolerances, right? Like you can push them here and you can push them here, but you can't push them outside of their tolerances. Now, I'm talking mostly about white people, right? Unfortunately, anybody who's not white has been pushed and run over and left on the side of the road, right? But even other races are starting to say, Allah, the supreme, the civil rights era, that we're just not going to put up with this. It gets to a point where you're human, the will to live is less than the will to change. So you're willing to put your life on the line, is what I'm saying. This is where we're going. So this is why I don't see a regime like Trump's really existing or really surviving, because all hell is going to break loose in this country. And the problem is, here's the next problem. The problem is the Democrats. And I think this is the reason why I'm doing this video, because when they started talking about the Democrats, I was like, well, okay. The problem is the Democrats, right? Like we're like milk toast. We're like, I don't even know what's worse, the milk toast, right? I don't know. But we cannot be. Going forward, people need to be more brash. They need to take chances. They need to put their views out there unapologetically. And they need to not just go along to get along, because that's over. Those days are over. It's you got to help the people. And you need to be able to sacrifice your whatever to be able to help the people. Maybe you need to sacrifice, what they're saying is you need to sacrifice your money that you're getting from the big donors. Oh, we don't want to make big pharma mad. Oh no, we don't want to make the gun lobby mad. Oh no, we want to make oil mad. Okay, this is the problem, right? You understand now. It's the billionaire class and it's everybody else. And the Democrats are trying to walk a line between the two. Not all Democrats, but a lot of them. And they got to stop. And they got to stand up for the people. Whoever stands up for the people is going to win. And the message here is that unfortunately right now, also because of astrology, we're not seeing clearly. So if somebody should show up who is got this bravado, even if they're not true, they could get a lot of attention. They could win it. They could take over. They could win a governorship or take over some leadership positions because people want change so bad. And this is what I saw in 2026 at the midterms, but it's already here. I think we're just accelerated. I think our timeline's really accelerated. So what I was going to ask was, what can we do about this? I mean, what's the point, right? Like, I'm little me, I did my thing, I pushed the button, and that's really all I can do. I mean, I'm doing what I can do on my platform. I'm encouraging people to take care of themselves. I'm encouraging people to get involved locally. I'm doing all those things, right? And you too, you did the thing. Why are you telling us this is what I wanted to know. And why am I doing this video when I have a lot of other things to do? So this is a heads up. They're saying this is a heads up. This is in the future, right? I don't know if you guys have noticed yet, but my predictions are like 3 or 6 months out. Like, you could go back 3 months and man, the stuff that's happening now is all coming true from my predictions months ago. But I think that's because it gives us an opportunity to prepare, and it gives us an opportunity to talk amongst ourselves, right? Go into your community, talk to your friends, or find a community, create a community, and start talking about, hey, we need to pay attention to people that show up that have all the answers and have this bravado, because they may just be selling us nothing. They might be selling us snake oil, right? But also on the flip side, because if you haven't noticed, everything is the same energy just flipped. It's exactly the same energy just flipped. I don't know how else to describe it except for this way. On the flip side, the Democrats need to be that. The Republicans are doing it in name only. They're doing it because it gets them a few shekels in their bank account, and it wins them races, right? The Democrats need to do it for the same reason, except for the Democrats need to actually bring the goods. So the Democrats need to be more like, this is it. This is what they just said. The Democrats need to be more like the Republicans in the sense they said, Biden needs to be strapping himself in a Chinook helicopter, or maybe Kamala Harris does. Or maybe Pete Buttigieg does. Why not? The Democrats are all demure. Oh, we couldn't. Oh, that would look like we were gaming the system, or that would look like we were doing it for PR. For the love of God, do it for PR. We need you to do it for PR because you look like you're out to lunch. Get Pete Buttigieg in a flight suit and put him in a Chinook helicopter to look at infrastructure. And then, we have to do this. This is the message. Democrats have to do this if they want to win this game. And right now, the Democrats is the best thing we have going. I'm not always a fan, but they're the best thing we have going. And until we get something better going and more viable, we have to get behind them. They're 1,000% better than Republicans. Maybe they're not, our dream come true in a lot of ways, but they're 1,000% better than Republicans. So I think what you're going to see, they're telling me, is you're going to see more Democrats doing more splashy things, more PR things. Just be, and you do see it. They're showing me, you do see it because you see Kamala Harris out doing things and Biden out doing things. They're actually out doing things. I don't know if you remember, but I do, because I was a precinct chair for Obama's precinct in my town, in my area. When he lost, or when Hillary lost and he stepped down, and Obama stepped down, He disappeared. He didn't stay in the public eye. It was almost like he put his tail between his legs and hit the road. I wrote letters to him and said, "Where are you?" January 20 wasn't there yet. January 6 wasn't there yet. Where are you? Do something. After Jan 6, I wrote to him, "Do something. Where are you? Don't abandon us." This is the energy. We feel like Democrats have abandoned us. Now, you see Biden actually doing things, right? Giving those medals out, going to meet with Native Americans in Joshua Tree, going to California during the fires, having a really nice state service for Jimmy Carter. He's still showing, and he's in social media. If you guys are not in social media, he's posting 3 times a day. And so is Kamala Harris. They're posting 3-4 times a day. So is Pete Buttigieg. This is what we did for the American people. Don't forget. So they're trying to keep their image alive. They're trying to keep their platform alive. They're trying to keep their whole identity alive. But it's got to get bigger. It's got to get splashier. Democrats have to really take a page out of 45's book and be much more bravado, much more, "I'm going to take care of this." Because guess what? We don't have a choice. Because what I see happening around January 18, 19, 20 is the potential for a situation where the Democrats do have to take charge, where something threatens our democracy, something threatens our way of life, an outbreak, an attack, you name it, could be anything. And guess what? Biden is going to have to grab that power that he never wanted to use. Remember all those videos when I talked about it? When I talked about how Biden has got to grab extra power. He has to take the extra power. That's what this whole video is about. Even imagery is grabbing power. Getting in a helicopter or a plane and getting a flight suit on and doing an actual run is everything. It would mean everything to the citizens of LA to know that their president put his life on the line to go help them. This is where we are, folks. We need our leaders to put their money where their mouth is. We need our leaders to stand up for us in a way that looks like personal sacrifice, because we are sacrificing down here and nobody's got our back. So as we go into 18, 19, 20 of January, this is what's going to happen, whether they want it or not. It's going to be a forced, what is force majeure? I know they've used this word before. I know they have, because they're telling me and I can see it, but it could be a situation of force majeure. If you spell it right instead of force majeure, it really makes a difference. Force majeure is a legal term that refers to an unexpected event that prevents someone fulfilling. Oh my God, y'all. Let me start over again. Force majeure is a legal term that refers to an unexpected event that prevents someone from fulfilling their obligations. It's often included in contracts as a clause that protects parties from liability if an event outside their control occurs. An exceptional situation that prevents someone from doing what they planned. Wow. I now have so many pages open that I don't even know where to find you. There you are. Wow. Well, that'll put you back on your heels, won't it? Okay. Force majeure. I don't even know what I was saying before I got derailed, but they're going to force him. They're going to force the whole Democratic Party. Well, I mean, I feel, look at my body language, like I'm defeated, like I'm just like, I feel like I've been flattened. Democratic Party has not done enough to stand up against 45. You know that, I know that, we know that, we feel that, we're angry about it, we're pissed off about it. And guess what? They have to. They have to, because if you go back to what I just said a few minutes ago about how 45 is not going to do this. He's not. I mean, even if he gets in, he's not going to do it. I don't think he's going to get in, but even if he does get in, he's not going to do it. But he's going to leave the door open. So that's why I think it's force majeure. I think the Democrats and Biden are forced to do this now. And if we do a good job, meaning if we attend to the problems, if we look squarely at the problems, if we own the problems, if we don't bury the problems or sweep them under the rug, then we have a really good chance of closing that door. If we sweep them under the rug, it's just like the spirit guides always tell you guys, that is equivocal to the monster in the movie running off into the darkness, and you know you're going to see a sequel because the monster's not dead. This is our opportunity to put an end to this. Will the Democrats find their spine? Will Americans, will citizens of the world find the steely-eyed, steel stomach, you know what I'm saying? The resolve to look at the horrors that they haven't been paying attention to? Okay? Because this is how we got here. And LA, and when the LA fires happened, I was doing a live on Instagram with Celeste Brooks Astrologer, and we were doing the live when it started. And I told you guys when I was on that live, this is like the Lahaina. This is just like that energy. I mean, it feels just like that energy. And here we are days later, and that damn fire is still going. And here's what we need to look at. We need to look at why. We need to look at why. And then we need to really honor the victims and the firefighters and the first responders and the people who live there by honestly not sweeping anything under the rug, by everybody owning, all of the city council, the state government, the US government, everybody needs to literally stand up and say, here's how I think I added to this problem. And here's how I'm going to not do this anymore. We've got to have, the last video I did, the guides talked about a truth council or a truth commission. This is the whole world needs a truth commission. Here's the problems we've been covering up, not dealing with, because they're all coming home to roost right now. And if we can have some steely resolve and really look at them, even though it makes our stomach churn, even though it makes us cry, even though it breaks our heart, if we can look at these things and say, I'm heartbroken, I'm sick, but I see it. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge this horribleness. And I understand that I need to be involved in some way. And I understand that maybe how I voted in the past wasn't helping. Or maybe I understand, and here's a big one, that I need to have I need to give up something. I need to pay more money, more taxes. I need to give up something so that this doesn't happen again, because this is how we got here. We keep going for the cheaper goods. We keep going for the cheaper this and the don't put me out, and I'm not going to pay taxes if I'm rich. And all that means that we're not paying attention to the fact that this was the driest season perhaps in a decade. Because we're not paying attention. We could have said, okay, we have stages of drought, and when it gets to the second stage, the hotels don't get water. Right? What can we do to address agriculture to use less water? We have to do the hard work, you guys. The only thing left is hard work, because it doesn't work the way we've been doing it. You cannot continue to do it this way, because people die, because people lose everything. Climate change is real. We have to get to a point where we not only realize that, but we're willing to make a personal sacrifice in some way. That's where we are. Okay. And I think that's where we're going to go. I think we're going to do that. And I think that we're going to get this more strong. I'm going to use the word authoritarian, but that's the word they're giving me. Energy with Biden and Kamala. If Biden has to overstay his presidency, then he's going to be a war president, and then he has war president powers, or he has declared some sort of restrictions, because when you have those types of things, well, there's restrictions. There's the personal sacrifice right there. That's the beginning of the personal sacrifice. Now, if you change your thinking, it's not really a sacrifice, right? If you change your thinking and you say, I'm not going to shop at this place because they're not good for the environment. That's a sacrifice, but it's not like, we have to change our thinking. Okay. It doesn't have to be a sacrifice. It can be a choice. Number one. Number two, this energy is going to be fulfilled because, well, either way, we're going to get more of a strong-armed president because we have to, because we're going to be divided, because perhaps we're going to be experiencing a lot of disasters, or a lot of, even some sort of mini pandemic that's not really a pandemic, but it's a mini outbreak on top of a disaster. On top, it's just, you guys, I just feel like it's going to stack up. Like the problems are going to stack up. And if 45 is in, then it's going to all fall apart. And then guess what? We're going to see with our own eyes unequivocally what is broken. And we're going to want to fix it, because we're going to understand that it can't work like this. If he doesn't get in and Biden Harris combination gets in, Biden gets in for some short period of time and then Harris takes over, well, then same thing, except for that she's going to try to fix it in a more of a maternal parenting way, and more of a, let's do this together and I want to help you. But at the same time, and I've said this before, what I love about Kamala Harris is she can hug you, she can cry with you, she can be so compassionate and empathic when it's time. Then she can turn around and give you the death stare and put your ass in prison. And that's, isn't that a parent? Am I not talking about a parent? A mature parent, a parent who's more of an idealistic parent, or an ideal parent, right? These are our choices. Either way, we've got to deal with some hard decisions and some hard truths. And I guess maybe, I don't know why they wanted me, they want me to talk about bandstanding. Isn't that a word, bandstanding? Like they're showing me the whistle stop tour, when presidents would get on a train and pull up to a town. There just needs to be more of that, but it has to be more bravado. It can't just be Biden at a black tie dinner. It can't be Biden at an ice cream store. It's got to be Biden in a Chinook helicopter. It's got to be somebody doing something that is so daring and so, in a way, ridiculous, because we shouldn't have our leaders doing this. It's like you don't send your general into the war, but this is where we are. There has to have been a general that went into the war, because this is the energy they're giving me, and this is where we are, right? It's lead or get out of the way. And here we are. And I think that's what you're going to see from Biden and Harris. I think you're going to see them leading. I think you're going to see them stepping into this energy. And, when your give a damn is broken, they're just not going to care about protocol. They're not going to care about tradition. 45 has done a really good job of dismantling and destroying protocol and tradition, and mostly laws. Democrats are not going to bypass laws, but they are going to bypass tradition and protocol. And that's going to make them look wild, right? People are going to say, that's what's going to happen. The media is going to be like, oh, did you see the Democrats? Good. Did you see the Democrats? We saw them, and we like what we see. Okay. And with that, I'm going to end this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Take really good care. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Also, there's Life Vest. helmets, goggles, seasick medicine. You're going to need all of that, but we're going to get through it, okay? Because we got each other, okay? If you're interested in my classes, you can check out my website. Also, I have a awesome political and spiritual community where you can tell your truth, where you can speak your truth. And you don't have to worry about being censored. And you don't have to worry about Bubba around the corner knowing that you're a Democrat, because it's my community. I own it. And no one else, people can't just come in. It's not, it's $12 a month. So there's a little bit of a wall there to keep people out. But that means you can go in there and feel safe and talk about the things that are important to you, whether it's spiritual or political. There's two different spaces. You get access to both of them. And it's over 800 people there. It's growing every day. I hope you join us there. Okay. Take really good care of yourself. I'll see you again really soon.